Hey, what is going on, guys? This is DK, back at you with another video here for a final look at the Week 8 main slate here on Draftkings. A couple things before I get in the video. We're closing in on 1.7 thousand subscribers now. Thank you guys all so much for all the support. If you're new to the channel, I'm doing a weekly giveaway where all you have to do is leave a like and a comment in the video. That's one entry into the giveaway. Max one comment, though, per video. It starts with my Monday Night Showdown video that I had up at the beginning of the week, goes throughout the week, and ends with my Monday Night Showdown video at the end of the week. So however many videos I've uploaded for the week, you can enter the giveaway that many times. So say I have 10 videos up for the week, you can enter the giveaway 10 times. The winner receives $20 PayPal from myself. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So first, let's look at the over-unders and the spreads for all these games really quick. So we'll start with Denver and the Colts, sitting at 41.5 with the Colts favored by 5.5 points. Giants-Lions is at 49.5. with the Lions favored by 6.5. Bears-Chargers is at 41 with the Bears favored by 4. Cardinals-Saints sitting at 48 with the Saints favored by 10.5 points. Bengals-Rams at 47 with the Rams favored by 12.5. Jets-Jags at 40.5 with the Jags favored by 6.5. Bucks-Titans at 45.5 with the Titans favored by 2.5. Eagles-Bills is 41 with the Bills favored by 2. Panthers-49ers is sitting at 41.5 with the 49ers favored by 5.5. Browns-Patriots at 43.5 with the Pats favored by 12.5 points. Raiders-Texans sitting at 52, the highest of the day, with the Texans favored by 7. Packers-Chiefs sitting at 47.5 with the Packers favored by 4.5. And then Dolphins, or these, actually, sorry, these two are the late night games. So ends here at the Raiders-Texans game. With that out of the way, let's look in the video. So quarterback, we'll start at the top here. These top guys, Russell Wilson, we just want to stream quarterbacks against Atlanta, right? Atlanta's defense, one of the worst, if not the worst defense in the league. And Russell Wilson, again, he has that rushing upside a bit too. Can get you rushing TD for sure. The matchup's so good, it playing in the dome. The concern is, can Atlanta score enough to keep this game close, right? Matt Ryan currently is questionable and they promoted, I think, Danny Etling from the practice squad, which is not a good sign for Matt Ryan's status. So we could look to a value guy like Matt Schaub, but if Schaub plays, there's definitely a downgrade to the Atlanta offense, right? So that's a concern there is, can Atlanta keep it close? Deshaun Watson in the dome in a great matchup as well. I really like him too. There's really not a whole lot of negatives you can say about Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson. Goff playing at home against the Bengals. Again, the concern is, can the Bengals score enough to keep this one close? Brady's been really consistent, right? He did have a 12-4 fantasy point game, but other than that, he's been like mid-20s. Cleveland, not really scared of their defense. Josh Allen, Philly's secondary is the weak part of the defense. He has a little bit of rushing upside as well. Drew Brees, this is still the big news we're waiting on, right? Currently, this is questionable. If he's not going to go, obviously, you can look to Teddy Bridgewater. If he plays at 6.3K, I would like this a lot for Drew Brees. So, again, another situation to monitor. You can look to Kyler, too. Saints are favored by... What are they? Favored by 10.5. So this should be good game script for Arizona. Should be playing from behind. Kyler, we know the rushing upside is there. Obviously, he didn't have a big game that last time because it was Chase Edmonds, 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards. So wouldn't mind going Kyler there. Matt Stafford in a great matchup at home in the Dome. Yeah, I do like him a good amount too. Again, the concern is, can the Giants score enough to keep this one close? I think the spread's only at 6.5, I believe. Lions favored by 6.5. Matt Ryan, again, a situation I have to monitor. I don't think I would go there if he plays. The ankle injury just concerns me. I think there's other options I'd feel better about. But you could if you want to risk it, I think he goes lower owned, so you could throw him in there for GPPs if he plays. Bridgewater, again, we could give a look to if Drew Brees misses. A really good matchup in the Dome. We have seen a little bit of upside with Teddy Bridgewater, right? He put up 31 fantasy points in the game against Tampa Bay, so we know it's there. I wouldn't mind going there if Drew Brees does miss. Daniel Jones is okay at 5.8. Jimmy G really hasn't flashed enough upside. Carson Wentz is in a bad matchup. Brissett's okay. Again, Denver, not the best matchup. Sam Darnold, Minshew are solid here at 5.5K. Don't feel great about either. Let's see. Tannehill's a guy I think is going to be pretty popular here at 5.1K. He had a big game week 7 there, 23 fantasy points. A pretty solid match against Tampa Bay, and he looked good. I think he's going to be somewhat popular. I wouldn't go crazy here, though, and lock him in, right? We know Ryan Tannehill, not necessarily the best quarterback, but a 5.1K in a good matchup, again, I think he's pretty good. Derek Carr, I don't mind him here at 5K. In a game playing in the Dome, they should be playing from behind this one, the highest over-under of the day. So, I think Derek Carr is actually a pretty solid play, and I think he goes a lot lower owned than a guy like Tannehill, so wouldn't mind going to a pivot to Derek Carr. off of Ryan Tannehill if you want to. Andy Dalton, Cincinnati has kind of been a mess. I don't think I want to take a shot there. Trubisky, Chicago is just also, the offense is kind of a mess. I don't necessarily know if I want to go there either. Matt Schaub, you could give a look to here, 4.7K. Again, not a guy that I don't think has huge upside, but a 4.7K if Matt Ryan misses, wouldn't mind taking a shot there because he could open up a lot of other things for you in your lineup. I think that's basically it. So let's move on to running back. Running back, the studs are in great matchups here. Well, Christian McCaffrey's not necessarily in a great matchup, right? San Francisco's defense looked great, but we know he's basically matchup proof. So McCaffrey, Saquon, Fournette, there's really no negatives to say about all these guys. They're basically going to play the whole game. They're game flow dependent, right? Or independent. It doesn't matter if they're playing from behind. Either they're going to be out there. So all three of these guys love all upside. Really, there's not a whole lot of bad things to say about all three. You can definitely get one, maybe even two. There are some value guys, some value receivers I'll talk about in a bit, where I think you could jam these guys in if you want to. Kamara, coming back from the injury. We don't know if he's going to be good to go yet, right? If he does go, maybe he'll be limited. So if you're playing him, like, you know, there's the risk, right? If he's active, he's coming off that ankle and knee injury, but I do really like the matchup here. Gurley against Cincinnati's rushing defense, one of the worst rushing defenses in the league, and Gurley's a guy that, you know, should get like 75% of the touches, so 7.4K, don't mind him. Chris Carson, really like this play as well, 7K. Again, the matchup is really good here against Atlanta, right? One of the worst, if not the worst defense in the league, and Chris Carson, they're just feeding him, getting involved in the pass game too, 7K. Yeah, I do like him. You know, guy like Carson, Gurley, Le'Veon Bell, these are guys that you could, you know, if you don't want to go up higher with McCaffrey, Saquon, and Fournette, you could definitely save a little bit of money here with Carson, Le'Veon, and Gurley. All three of those guys that I think, you know, get worked a good amount. Nick Chubb, it's just the Patriots defense. I'm going to pass, right? Their defense looks really good. And on a main slate, I don't necessarily think I want to take a shot there. I just think they're safer options. Now, the whole Arizona situation, right, with David Johnson, is he going to be active? Is he not? Is he going to be active? Is he going to play, right? Because he was active and only played like 3 snaps. So hopefully we get clarity before lock. I don't think we will, which is kind of unfortunate because if I knew David Johnson was not going to play, I would really like Chase Edmonds here at 6.2K. But if David Johnson's going to play, maybe it's like a split. So yeah, it's probably a situation I'll stay away from since I'm a one lineup guy. But if you're making multiple lineups, you could take a shot on Chase Edmonds, banking on that David Johnson won't play. But if David Johnson plays and, you know, isn't going to be limited, I would like that too. But again, I don't think we'll get clarity on that before lock because, you know, we didn't really get that before last week with Arizona. Let's see, Derrick Henry, never a guy he's too game flow dependent, right? If they're playing from behind, he's not going to get utilized enough. If they're playing from ahead, he could have a big game, but I don't think I want to take a shot on the main slate like this. Guys like Eckler and Melvin Gordon going to split the work, but Chicago's defense just got lit up on the ground by Latavius Murray. So I guess you could go there, but again, like they're going to split the snaps pretty evenly, so I think I prefer paying a little extra for a workhorse back like a Le'Veon, a Carson, or a Gurley. Josh Jacobs currently listed as questionable. If he can't go, we could look to a guy like Jalen Richard in a game that Oakland should be playing from behind in. Latavius Murray could go there definitely if Kamara misses. So that's a situation we have to monitor. If Kamara misses, I would like Latavius a good amount here at 5.8K in a game that the Saints should be playing from ahead in. Obviously, no carry-on. He's on the IR. Let's see. Sony Michel at 5.2K. Don't mind that price tag at all in a game. Again, New England should be playing from ahead in. It hasn't really had a great yards per carry, but they're continuing to feed him, you know, giving him the carries in the goal line. So 5.2K, he's definitely viable. Ty Johnson's the guy that should take over as the lead down back here with no carry-on. They still have J.D. McKissic, but I don't necessarily think J.D. McKissic will get a lot of work on the ground. I think he'll be more the third down back. So Ty Johnson, you could definitely take a shot on here at 4.9K. I think he's fringe cash game viable in a really good matchup in where Detroit should be playing from ahead in. So yeah, I kind of like him here at 4.9K. Let's see other options. Carlos Hyde at 4.7K in a game that Houston should be playing from ahead in. Don't hate it. He just doesn't really get utilized in the passing game. I think that's kind of it. Oh, Jalen Richard again. We could look to there if Josh Jacobs misses. Henderson will probably get like 25 to 30% of the work with Malcolm Brown out. Don't hate him at 4K, but don't necessarily know if I want to take a shot there on the main slate. J.D. McKissic, again, I don't necessarily think he'll get a whole lot of work on the ground. He'll get utilized more in the passing game, in my opinion. But at 3.9K, he's viable. I think I prefer Ty Johnson for an extra 1,000. I think that's it. Duke Johnson, 3.8K. Again, he gets utilized in the pass game. Not too much work on the ground, but the price tag makes him viable. I think that's basically it. So let's move on to wide receiver. So these guys at the top, right? DeAndre in a great matchup. Michael Thomas, Julio. Again, really nothing negative to say about any of those guys. They all have huge upside. All of them in pretty solid matchups. Julio would probably be the guy I would feel the least confident about, just because, again, we don't really know what the status of Matt Ryan is. But Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins at home, both in the dome in great matchups. Yeah, I like those guys as spend-ups. Cooper Kupp's always safe, right? Gets targeted a bunch in a game. The Rams should score some points in this one. Let's see. Keenan Allen currently listed as questionable. If he can't go, you could look to some of those value guys for the Chargers. Or you could even, like, that would be a boost to Eckler. Like, Eckler got lined up a little bit at wide receiver too. So, again, that's the situation we have to monitor. Will Fuller out. Definitely makes definitely a big boost there to Kenny Stills and Kiki Cutie. Both viable as cheap options. T.Y. Hilton, the price is not coming up on him enough. The concern is the matchup, not necessarily the best, but a 6.1K. I do like that price tag on him. Allen Robinson's just a target monster, right? He got 16 targets the last game. I don't think we can expect that again, but I think like 7 to 10 targets is pretty fair. And again, the Bears really utilizing him a bunch here. Let's see, don't mind John Brown. Again, Philly secondary, the weakest part of their defense. Marvin Jones just had that big game, but I think I'll pass because I think he's going to be a lot higher owned. You know, the Rams receivers are still pretty cheap. Cooks, I kind of like that at 5.7. Fitzgerald at 5.4 in a game that the Cardinals should be playing behind in. The price is dropping on him after a bad game that last time out, but we know usually he's a pretty safe option, so 5.4K, I do like that price tag. DK Metcalf, again, we want to stream players against Atlanta if you can't afford. Where is, I think I glossed over him. Tyler Lockett here at 7K, if you can't afford him, you can definitely go to DK Metcalf. I think Lockett's obviously a little more safer, but both definitely in play in a great matchup. You can pair him with Russell Wilson. Jameson Crowder, not necessarily too scared about the Jags D now. 4.8K again. Sam Darnold loves this guy out of the slot, so I think he's pretty fair. Kenny Stills, I do kind of like this, right? At home in the dome in a great matchup with no Will Fuller. Emmanuel Sanders here, 4.6K in the new offense. Kyle Shanahan said he's going to play a lot. So, you know, I like this in a pretty solid matchup, right? Carolina plays at a pretty fast pace. So, Emmanuel Sanders at 4.6K. Do kind of like that as a cheaper play. Auden Tate at 4.2. A guy that's going to be targeted, you know, 6'6", 11'6" at 4.2K. I think he's a pretty solid value play. And like Dorsett and Jacoby Myers, it's going to be interesting to see what New England does with Mohamed Sanu. Like, who's he going to take snaps from? But all these New England receivers, Sanu, Dorsett, Jacoby Myers, it's going to be interesting to see what they kind of do with the rotation. But I think they're all viable here as cheap options. Edelman currently is questionable. I think he'll be good to go. Other options, let's see. Again, Kiki Cutie like him. Kenny Stills is cheap options. There's a lot of snaps going around with no Will Fuller. Mike Williams, you could look there with you know, Keenan Allen out. Should absorb a lot more of those targets. So I would like him a good amount as a value play. Let me go to the Chargers really quick. So yeah, if Keenan Allen misses, like Mike Williams, you could look to Patton, Jeremy Davis. So again, this is a situation we'll have to monitor. Obviously, would probably feel the best about Mike Williams there, 4K. Other cheap options. Alex Harrison just had that big game, right? Over 100 yards, 14 targets. Don't necessarily think we can expect that again. But at 3.7K, if he's going to continue to get, like, I don't know, 6 to 8 targets a game, I think he's definitely viable as a cheap option. And I think that's basically it. So let's move on to tight end, guys. Tight end, the guys at the top, Kittle, Darren Waller, Austin Hooper, all of them viable. I think Darren Waller would be my favorite in a game the Raiders should be playing from behind in the dome. The highest over under the day, 5.9K. We know the upside's huge, right? Just had 34 fantasy points. Should have had another TD, so should have had close to 40 fantasy points. We know the upside's huge in this guy. The price is not coming up in him enough. He was a guy I was all over last week. I like him again here at 5.9. Ingram, wouldn't mind buying low, right? I think recency bias will lower his ownership a lot in a off game there against Arizona. But you go right back to the well in a game that the Giants should be playing from behind in a 5.3K. We know the upside's there. Hunter Henry, again, he's been, if Keenan Allen misses, that would be a bigger boost to Hunter Henry. Just been absorbing a lot of targets here, 5, 9, 8 targets. Double-digit fantasy points each of the last 3 weeks. Let's see. Other options. So O.J. Howard's out. We could look to got a Cameron Brate. Not necessarily the best matchup, but a 2.7K. Wouldn't hate him as a cheap option. There are some viable cheap options here at tight end. Josh Hill with no Jared Cook, definitely viable at 3.2. Dallas Goedert, again, 2.8K. Don't mind that price tag at all on him. So there are some cheap options we can take a shot on here at tight end. And then finally, defense. Obviously, the Patriots, right? They've been super, super good this season. The best defense so far. And honestly, the Browns, Baker Mayfield's been turning the ball over a lot. So if you want to spend up, I think they're pretty safe at home. Rams, again, Cincinnati's kind of a mess. Don't hate them at home either. Cheaper options, the Titans at 3.2K, I think they're viable. I always kind of prefer leaning towards home defenses like the Texans at 2.7K, don't mind it. But yeah, I think that's kind of it. I mean, the Chargers here, 2.3K, don't hate that either. The Bears have kind of been a mess this year, offensive-wise. Lions at home at 2.8K. But yeah, I think that's basically it, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content so far, I'd really appreciate it if you would like this video and subscribe if you haven't. Again, if you want to get into the giveaway, all you have to do is leave a like and a comment in the video. It's one entry in the giveaway. I'll be back for another video for my Sunday night show on Slate, which I'll have up probably tomorrow morning. So be on the lookout for that. So thanks again for coming to check out the video, guys, and I will see you later.